Bottle cap on the ground is rolling towards a man's feet, but just as he bends down to pick it up, the cap suddenly disappears. Even more bizarrely, everyone's cell phones lost their signal, and even one passenger disappeared into thin air over the bumps, and the subway rushed into the tunnel with sparks. When they woke up, the crowd thought there had been a derailment. When the conductor pressed the rescue button, but found that no one responded at all, passengers rushed to open the door to escape. Everyone is suddenly confused, as the outside is a wild jungle, with all the modern skyscrapers gone. At this point, White suggests that the conductor check to see if anyone is hurt, and he takes two passengers into the tunnel to call for help. Meanwhile, the subway station has been in chaos. Under the leadership of the conductor, the police found that the entire carriage actually disappeared, so with the rescue team to the tunnel to check, and suddenly saw the front of the light shot out, and Xiao Bai they also found that the tunnel is brightly lit, the two sides of the people to speed up the pace towards each other, but surprisingly, the opposite side of the other group of rescue team, Xiao Bai, and they rushed out of the tunnel. However, the scene in front of them was dumbfounded. There was no station outside, and when they ran up to the high ground, they were even more desperate, and all they could see was a desert. So the three of them returned to the train and showed the footage to everyone. Everyone looks incredulous, while Bai plans to raise smoke to attract the attention of the outside world, but Yellow Hair thinks that this method is unreliable. Now that the east side of the train is a desert, then there might be a way out to the west, but Xiao Bai says that it would be dangerous to be alone, and begs him to stay for a night to see what happens. Yellow Hair saw his sincere attitude, so he also agreed. Half a day passed, but there was still no sign of rescue, and everyone's mood began to become restless. Passengers who brought food were better off, but those who didn't could only watch. The girl took advantage of the fact that no one noticed him, secretly stuffed into the side of the yellow hair of the backpack, and found that there is only a letter of release from prison. Taking advantage of the fact that no one notices her, the girl sneaks into a yellow-haired backpack off to the side and finds only a letter of release from her sentence. Then she stares into another bag, gets food, and rushes outside, but is unexpectedly scared off by the yellow hair who has just finished draining the bag. When Yellow Hair picks it up and returns it to her, the girl scurries away. When she returned to the carriage, Xiaomei opened her bag and realized that her food was gone. Look around but saw the Yellow Hair carrying their own food bag, realized that the misunderstanding of the Yellow Hair, hastily said that the girl dropped, did not expect to be her bite back, but also said that he was just released from the prisoners. At a glance, no, not what good people, we have heard some fear. Yellow Hair look at everyone's disgusted with the reaction, the bag back to the girl's hand, let her return the things, and then picked up the backpack angrily. The first time I saw him, I was so happy to see him. However, he walked into the deep mountains not much farther, on the road to find a dropped hat, and next to a few boxes of mineral water. At this time, the carriage of an Edison guy is cutting video, just happened to capture the scene of the girl stealing food, so with a cell phone to find the girl confronted, everyone looked at them to condemn her. But she blamed Xiaomei for not watching the food herself and picked up a piece of orange and ran outside. Sympathetic Xiaobai chased after her, and the two of them marked the way along the way to prevent getting lost. On the other hand, Yellow Hair encountered a bottomless gully, and was planning to turn around and find another way out, but unexpectedly his feet slipped, and the whole person hung on the edge of the cliff. When he was about to lose his grip, Xiao Bai and Xiaomei appeared in time to pull him back. Xiaomei found a backpack hanging on the cliff edge. It is the group of people who left at the beginning. It seems that they are also in a bad way. Yellow Hair then returns to the carriage with the two men, and after a long night, the waking crowd has no hope of rescue. This time, an older man wanted to buy the student girl's water and boldly paid $2 to her. But the girl's boyfriend thinks it's too little and raises his hand to add another $1. The uncle angrily accused him of stealing money, but the noblewoman said she was willing to buy it. Seeing this, the uncle hurriedly handed the boy the money, but he looked mocking. What's the use of asking for money in times of disaster? Picked up his luggage and left with his girlfriend. They had planned to run away from home, so it didn't matter where they went. The older man thought to himself that there was no hope of rescue anyway, so he might as well let himself go and embrace nature as well. At this point the group had run out of water and food, so they chose to leave to find a water source. At this point, the boy and his girlfriend realize that there is no way out in front of them, and Xiao Bai finds them and persuades them to stay. When they go back, a can of beer catches the boy's attention. He remembers that there is still a month to go before it is on sale, and with a puzzled face, he picks it up to check it out, while on the other side, the man also finds a strange plant. And the uncle came to the edge of the cliff, saw a familiar tower in the distance, the whole person froze. The subway car accidentally travels to the world 30 years later, but the passengers are still arguing about water. Just as Yellow Hair leads the way to find the mineral water hidden in advance, he realizes that the water has been stolen. Huang Mao suspected that the water thief was hiding in this compartment, and that night he stood guard outside and built a fire, concluding that the water thief would take advantage of everyone sleeping to drink the water. At this time, the girl did not sleep. Look at her eyes, no good fart. Yellow Hair guarded all night, did not catch anyone. Glasses man found that the vegetation here is lush, deduced that there must be a water source nearby, so a few people to the north of the woods to explore, suddenly found a frog on the ground, and the ground grass is also very wet, proving that there must be water nearby. Soon, a few people came to a cliff and found water seeping out of the rock wall, but how to climb up so high? On the other side, the uncle ran out and took away a bunch of branches. It turned out that he was the water thief, just as he was about to take a sip, but behind him appeared the screams of the train conductor. The uncle with a ferocious face rushed up, followed by the screams of the train conductor. The uncle then carried the water back to the compartment, thinking that he was going to distribute it to the group, but it turned out that he was going to exchange it with the group for other supplies, and a bottle of water cost $100,000. This face immediately aroused public anger. Huang Mao, who had just returned, directly put him down and gave all the water to everyone. After 2 days of thirst, everyone finally survived. At night, Bai made a simple rope with vines and prepared to climb up the cliff to make sure there was water. This is a piece of cake for the fireman's wife. Easily climbed to the top of the mountain, and found that there was indeed water here. When he climbed to the top, he was once again shocked by the sight in front of him, only to see a vast ocean in front of him, and towering over the sea is actually Mount Fuji.